Welcome to Try Not to Overthink It, where we explore the intricate landscape of mental health, well-being, and everyday life. I'm RJ.
And I'm Khalil.
Join us as we dive into insightful conversations, share expert perspectives, and personal stories that shed light on the various dimensions of mental wellness. Whether you're seeking guidance, inspiration, or a deeper understanding of the human mind, this podcast is your safe space to engage, learn, and navigate the journey to a happier, healthier self. If you're new to the channel, please like this video and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any future content. So today we are unpacking the topic of outgrowing relationships. I thought it was an important one that as we grow, as we get older, as we mature, matriculate through life, we sometimes outgrow certain relationships, kind of like a potted plant. The way a potted plant may need a bigger pot and need to be replanted as it grows. We as human beings, we grow and need more space. We need different things from the relationships that we partake in. And I thought it was important for us as therapists to unpack this topic today. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I don't think we always do that inventory of our relationships, right? To see, is this person still necessary? What value do they give to my life? I think we just keep people arbitrarily because we've had them for years. I know I've heard a lot of people say, I've been married with this person for 20 years. Yeah, but today they don't serve what they used to 20 years ago, right?
Absolutely.
You kind of outgrew them. So I think that there are times when we need to do inventory on our relationships to see, is this relationship still of value to us? And not like that transactional value, but like this person brings joy, brings wellness. Definitely want to make sure they're not taking away from you in any way. Because if they are, you may need to reevaluate, maybe not cutting them out, but reevaluate how much you prioritize that person.
Right. You spoke to something that I always, when I hear it, it's a red flag for me, right? I've been with this person for 20 years, or I've been with this person for so long, why would I leave them now, right? Once someone says that to me, it lets me see that, hey, that might be the only positive thing, time, right? There might not be anything else that actually elevates the relationship. So that's scary to me, right? If I have a partner, right, I shouldn't just say, hey, well, I'm just used to the person, right? Because then I'm telling the therapist, well, I just don't want to be alone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think that just because you outgrow someone doesn't mean you stop caring about the person. It just means that your paths no longer align. I think that for a lot of us, we get it misconstrued where we have this antiquated belief about loyalty where I gotta just ride with somebody regardless of whatever's going on, regardless of how our paths have diverged. I just gotta ride with them till the wheels fall off. And
it's not till death do you part.
Exactly. And I mean, to me, people who are truly your friends for the right reasons or in your life for the right reasons will not take it personally when you say that, hey, I have to I've kind of outgrown this relationship. What we're doing no longer is helping me be the best version of myself. I tell my clients all the time, I don't partake in anything personally as a provider in anything that does not help improve me in some way, shape, or form. So I always espouse that in all facets of my life. And so for my clients, to tell them the same thing. When a relationship no longer is helping you be the best version of yourself, what is it doing? It's doing the exact opposite at that point. I think that it's okay to evolve beyond relationship once it no longer fits who you're supposed to be. For a lot of us, we will because the way this topic kind of came to me was Ace Bailey that plays for the Jazz. Him and his manager parted ways. And so there was this whole thing with him getting drafted and his draft stock fell because of certain things that people felt that his manager, who, they're pretty close, they're pretty tight with, that people are like, why did you wait till now to fire your manager and get a different manager when, you should have gotten rid of him sooner? And for me, a lot of us, what we will tend to do is we'll recognize that, hey, everyone doesn't fit in every place, but we will still bring them along moving forward. And right. Unique pointed this out in a previous episode we were shooting about how we'll throw out spoiled meat. Like if meat is spoiled, if cheese is spoiled, if something is expired, we'll throw food away. But then we won't apply that same logic to our relationships. Once it's past its expiration date and it's no longer working for our benefit, we'll continue to hold on to it just because it's comfortable for us.
Yeah, but I mean, I talked about this before. You have edification and if something is satisfying, right?
Mhm.
A bag of chips when you're hungry is definitely satisfying. But a bag of chips is not going to be edifying long term, right? It doesn't provide
Absolutely.
any nutritional value. It doesn't have enough calories to keep you full for long. It has no protein. It has nothing nutritionally that's going to edify the body long term. Some friendships are just satisfying, right? And I've been teaching P about that. It's like this means that this is an acquaintance. I think we lump people in the friend category too quickly. I think we align ourselves with people too deeply, too quickly. But if we recognize what this person's role is and said, okay, this is just a kiki person. I if I need a good laugh, I'm a kiki with them.
Right.
I'm gonna eat lunch with them at the lunchroom at work. I am going to wave to them across the way as my neighbor. Like I need them to like if I'm going out of town to grab my mail. That's not my homegirl. That's not my homeboy. That is just someone who satisfies an area of my life that needs satisfying, right? And I think it's okay to say that. We are so cautious to be like, well, I don't want to feel like I'm using somebody. Everybody has a place.
Mhm. Absolutely.
They just do, right? My husband, my kids, my animals, all of them have a place in my life. It's not me assigning it like, you're going to be this. No, they just do. They have a place that they fill in my life. And when I look at that inventory and I say, okay, what is this person's place, right? Then it's easier to see if they've expired, right? It's easier to see, you know what, I no longer have a need for that. Case in point, in graduate school, I think I had some girls. I mean, I hung out with these girls often. Do I hate these girls? No, I don't hate them. I think they're beautiful women. Roger Mel could probably attest to them. I think it was like 4 or 5 of these girls that we used to always be together. Took every class together. It just kind of worked out that well. And Roger Mel, he was our sixth. He wasn't a girl, but he liked our energy.
Mhm.
Oh, I could not.
Proof.
I think it's only one of those girls that I still even talk to, have their number, will call from time to time. And it's not that any of them are bad, right? I just think that we reach places in our lives where we no longer needed to be in each other's spaces every single day because we no longer had the thing that was tying us, which was graduate school. Graduate school was the thing that brought us all together. That was our common thread. That thread expired. And so naturally, our relationships kind of did not progress in those areas because we came from different backgrounds. So life just took us in different areas. I'm married with kids now. I live in a different state. Um, I'm in private practice. I don't think that a lot of the girls that I used to talk to, I don't think that they're in private practice. I don't even think that some are even still in mental health or are married or have kids. So it's just like our lives kind of just transition and it didn't transition in a way that kept us together. I also didn't try to keep those. I just need to keep these girls because we had such a good time. No, I just allowed life to progress naturally. And if it presents itself that I'm in the same space with these women again, do I check on them? Do I say, "Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you"? Yes, because it is, right? For that moment, they satisfy the nostalgia of my time at the illustrious AAMU. Happy homecoming,
All right. All right.
um, home of the
Those
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs.
But yeah, so I don't, there's no love lost. And I think that's what people have to remember. You can outgrow without there being love lost. But I think that's if you do it in a timely way. If you don't, then you'll be like the young man who didn't let go of who didn't switch management, where now it's harming you,
Mhm.
right? You get into the nasty arguments. You have to have that harsh heart to heart of, oh my gosh, this no longer serves me. I don't even know why I ever did this. Well, calm down. Now you're being dramatic. You
Right.
know why I
Right.
served you. Cut it out.
Well, I like Unique story, right? When it comes to platonic relationships. But I want people to also look at that when it comes to romantic relationships, right? Um, the relationship might not be serving you right now, right? And when you extend it, that's when the resentment comes in, like Unique said, right? So you
Hmm.
know that you're growing apart from this person, right? You might have met them in college, you might have met them in high school, right? And you stayed with that person, and then the relationship doesn't evolve, right? You might evolve, you might grow, but the relationship didn't, right? And so that person no longer fits what you originally had them there for, right? They might have been there for support, emotional, physical, mental. I don't, it could be numerous reasons why they were there in the beginning, right? But they're no longer serving you, right? And so you're bringing them to these next stages in your life, right? So as you
Hmm.
evolve, right, they're not really evolving, and you're bringing
Yeah.
them in to this next season, next chapter, right? And they become a burden, right? And I don't
Mm,
want people to understand. I don't want people to look at this and start reevaluating their whole lives and
you're
be like,
a
"Here
burden.
you go, go ahead, you need to
No, I'm saying you're a burden.
right,
You're
right."
weighing me down.
But and when we're talking, right, literally, it's a little bit different than that. It means that I'm carrying you on my back through all these different stages of my life because you don't really do anything for me, right? When
Oh,
it comes
Khalil, take it back.
to
Take
lifting
it back,
me up,
Khalil.
right?
Take it back.
Right. And I'm trying to do it in a nice way, folks, because I don't want you all to just sit there and start reevaluating your life and say, oh, this person has to go, that person
Do
has
it.
to go. But
Do it.
notice, right? Are you carrying them or are they walking with you? Right? Or are they
Mm-mm. You got them up
supporting
under your arm like this.
right, or do you have them up under your arm and you're
you
carrying them like
you got
baggage?
him swaddled.
Right, right, because they're gonna weigh you down, right? And it's not that, I feel that when we're in these romantic relationships, right, we idealize our partners, right? Because there's certain things that they were doing for you in the beginning, right?
Well,
Like I said, some
we
people just
we
don't want to be alone, right?
we romanticize the
We
idea.
romanticize
We
the idea.
romanticize the
We have a
idea of
partner.
all of them. No, 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 no. I'm gonna touch on this. Y'all read this on your own time. Not you guys. I know y'all know, but you guys know what I'm about to talk about. It's the anxious attachment that some people form.
Hmm.
Sometimes we have these anxious attachments, and if anybody does any like research on attachment theory, sidebar, Roger Mel and I had this teacher who used to say, granted, whatever the class title would be, she would assign a textbook. She would get to the class the first day of class and say, buy any textbook on the subject, it'll cover it. We're like, well,
Hmm.
what are you going to test from? Don't worry about it. It's going to be in every book.
Yeah, right.
So I'm about to pull an Annie B. Wells. Read any book on attachment theory. It's all in there, okay, what I'm about to say. She wasn't wrong though. Now that I'm, in the field, Annie was not wrong. She just was old and cantankerous sometimes. But anywho, we love Annie. There's no Annie slander on this podcast, okay? Dr. Wells, if you ever watch this or listen to this, we love you, girl. Anywho, read any book on attachment theory, and when you start to like dive into attachment, another sidebar. My favorite book, there's no promotion, but if you want a good therapy book about some basic therapeutic concepts to further your exploration about what you talk about in therapy, you heard what I said, to further it, check out Pocket Therapy by Sarah Crosby. Love the way that Sarah breaks things down. But in there, it talks about attachment theory and anxious attachment. And I don't remember if Sarah said this or this is just something I gathered after the reading, but we develop these narratives. And when we have like an anxious attachment to someone, we develop a narrative about the persons that we are in relationship with. And so, too much to like Khalil was saying, we romanticize, right? We tell ourselves this fairy tale, beautiful version of who this person is. And then we make the person live up to it in our head. But then when they don't, because in real life, people don't live up to the fairy tale version in our head, then we're disappointed and we're like, oh, they never loved me. Ah, Pookie butt. It's not that they didn't love you. They just always have been who they were. You just had this fairy tale version. And so one of the ways in therapy that we help people to develop a healthier attachment is to realize the story that you're telling yourself about this person, and then to start to get to know the actual version, right? Stop. I love that the girls on TikTok romanticize your life, romanticize, romanticize, romanticize. Maybe instead of romanticizing, maybe if we went for the actual version and started to improve the actual version, then we'd have a better outcome.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that that's the key thing is we have to stop living in Delulu land and start living in reality. Like, for a lot of us, we will sometimes overlook when it's actually happening. So part of recognizing this is when you find yourself where the conversations are starting to feel forced or surface level only. When you find yourself having to shrink or dim yourself down to keep the peace. Other times you may feel drained when you're in the person's presence, or you don't feel like when you're around this person, like they're inspiring you or grounding you. And I think the most important thing is when you realize you're no longer learning, you're being challenged, or you're emotionally safe with this person or persons. That's when you have to start kind of realizing like, oh man, it may not be best for me to remain here. And for a lot of us, we will continue to operate in unhealthy and unsafe spaces just because we're comfortable. And that goes in all facets of our lives.
But I think sometimes, Roger, it's not cutting it out. It's changing. And while you were talking, I was thinking about my relationships with my undergrad best friend. We're all still besties to this day, but I recognize that our relationships changed. So these were women that, of course, because I lived on campus, saw them every day. Some of them were my roommates at times. And then maybe a few years ago, I was just like, things just don't feel the same. And I had to sit back and say, yeah, because it's not the same. We're not those same people. We're not 18 and 20. We have a 18, 19, 20 year relationship.
Right.
But we're not the same people we were 20 years ago. And so what I had to realize is, this is why I said edification and satisfaction, is because I had to make new friends. Because we used to be like, no new friends, no new friends. But at some point, I was just like, no, I need new friends. I need friends that are in proximity. I'm an extrovert, so I need people close to me. I need to interact with lots of different people in order for my battery to be recharged. If not, I feel very dim. And so I realized, it's like, I mean, my friends, we live in different states. You call them, they're not available when I'm available. I have an entrepreneur schedule, so I have sometimes whole days when I'm just off. They're at work. I can't just call them, right? A lot of us are in relationships, have kids. Their child's bedtime is not my child's bedtime. So while I'm doing bedtime, they are finishing dinner. Because one of my friends lives several time differences away from me, and I'm just like, bro, this is just awful. Okay, it's awful. I don't like it, and it just hit me. It's not that they're not my besties anymore. These women know me down. If I need anything, I can call them. They're not a dead weight. But trying to maintain the relationship like it has always been, that was the dead weight. Realizing that we were no longer in that space was putting a hamper on our friendship.
You're not an undergrad anymore.
I'm not an undergrad anymore. I don't have that same level of availability. My pockets require different things. I pay for different things than I did in undergrad. In undergrad, I had endless money to go wherever. Now I don't.
And that's the juxtaposition. Like the things that you needed when you were 18, 19, 21, 22, 23 are not the things that you need at 30, 34, 35, 36, up into your 40s. As you matriculate in life, as you grow in life, you're going to need different food, you're going to need different things, you're going to need different clothes, your taste in music changes, your taste in comedy changes. Like prime example, me and my sister were having this conversation, right? About the show Frasier. As a kid, I didn't understand what the hell they were talking about. But
I still don't.
as an adult,
Still don't.
as
Kelsey
as
Grammer, I don't know what they were talking about.
I can tell you as an adult going back and watching it, the show is hilarious. No different than like my sister loves to watch. She loves to watch The Nanny. As a kid, I didn't understand the show. Did not understand the humor. Didn't understand the comedy. It went right over my head. As an adult, the show's hilarious. Same thing with the Golden Girls. I'm not a Golden Girls fan.
Oh, but that show it gets you through that.
Yeah, but Golden Girls, it's
because you've been an adult for like 30 years. So
yeah,
cut it out. You've been grown our whole life, so cut it out, Khalil.
I didn't understand it. When my mom watched it, I didn't understand it. But now as an adult, I understand the jokes because my mind is elevated. My thought process is different. And so the things that I found,
because see, you cooking, because R&B music. You got to talk about R&B music, baby.
Yeah.
Before you was in love, this song didn't mean nothing.
Nothing.
They
Yep.
mean nothing. Now you get in love and don't have a heartbreak, baby.
Oh,
you understand? Hey, look.
Yeah.
Keisha Cole ain't never Keisha Cole until you get to a breakup, baby. Listen, you were singing your heart out before you knew. After a while, you be like, hold on, I got the Adele do something different to you, baby, after a betrayal. You got to get betrayal to understand Adele. Then you be like, girl,
you got to go through some breakups. You
got to detach yourself from something to understand Adele.
And I mean, that's
you just never knew love until, you know, the R&B boys, they was thinking about Love in the Rain. You understand why they was thinking about Love in the Rain, baby.
Yes, you understood it differently.
They was trying to win her back.
Exactly. And I mean, that's what happens. I mean, but we sometimes start to have this emotional conflict and this juxtaposition with guilt where we feel guilty because we're having to move on without people that we've gone through things with, or that we grew up with, or that have been around for years. And you can love people and still accept that they no longer fit in your future. You know,
grieve. We gotta learn to grieve people, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Y'all ever watch that Marie Kondo? Whatever. That's the Baltimore Emmy. Marie Kondo, whatever her name is. Y'all know. Find her on. Tell that into your mic on Roku. It'll bring her up. It'll be wrong, but it'll bring her up still. Anywho, I love old girl down. She an Asian woman, and I think it's a theory. So I don't know about the theory, but I do like what she said about it. Sometimes you gotta just thank people for what they've been there, and then release them on. And I said, Marie, I could have popped her with a flip flop, because she said something when she said that, in that, you know, you just gotta learn to let it go gracefully.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't never want to pop nobody with a flip flop to just be like, that was good.
That was a
Maybe
good.
I'm a little abusive. Maybe I'm abusive.
No.
I don't. Maybe. Okay.
Popping somebody with a flip flop.
Popping with a flip flop.
It's the Baltimore in it, right?
It's not harmful. Just pow. It's just, you know, it's a love tap. But I think if we learn to just grieve people in a healthy way, and not make it such a bad thing, right? Have a farewell send off. Have a swan song. Have a farewell luncheon. Girl, you know, let's give it a last hurrah. Let's give it a last shebang, homeboy. I think I'm talking about homegirls, but sometimes you have relationships with homeboys, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You gotta just let people go gracefully from your life. Sit back and reflect. I do this with my clients. We have what's called a grieving ritual. And I learned it from my last place I used to work at. The guy taught us this. It was a grieving ritual. So you look at, let me see, I keep it on the back of my mouth. That's how much I like it. It's just right there on the back of my mouth. But you talk about the regrets, resentments, appreciation, and then where your pain goes. If we did that to relationships that no longer serve us, what do I regret about that relationship? Right? What were some of the resentments I had? And what were some of the things that I really appreciated? And what am I wanting to do with my pain in this relationship? Now that the relationship is over, what am I wanting to do with the pain that comes from it? Once you look at it and conceptualize it as just something that's actually real, because you have to, I think a lot of people can't let it go because they've not actualized it, right? This is a real thing in my life. This is a real relationship. It's not a fairy tale. It's not a figment of my imagination. Then we say, you know what? I am tired of carrying the person on my back. I do feel like I'm not as comfortable with this person. But you know what? I appreciated all the laughs this person gave me over the years. They
Absolutely.
were a funny somebody, boy. Them things, they will bust your sides with laughter. But they're a little crude. You know, they could be a little rude with it at times, and they make you laugh at things that's not funny. And when the joke turns to you, it really ain't funny. And then, so once we get to that place, then we say, okay, where do I want to put my pain? I've been neglecting working out. So maybe I could start working out again because I've been spending so much time with them. Now I can start working out. I can maybe learn a new hobby. I can make some new friends, right? I could just heal myself. Maybe I lost a part of my self-esteem in being with this friend, because we don't want to talk about that. We talk about it in a romantic relationship, but sometimes you had them friends that really be etching away at your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Maybe you lost a part of your self-esteem where your friend always used to put you down and make you feel like you was the ugly friend, and really, you're the cute friend. Maybe you got to start.
Sometimes those same friends be in competition with you, though.
They do. So that's why you got to be like, oh, whoa, it's not me, it was them all along. So you got to heal that part of you, and then maybe put yourself out there. Maybe go on a couple friend dates. We won't talk about it, but I think that's healthy. Instead of automatically adopting somebody as a friend, go out on a date with them. Hey, let's go to a concert.
Right.
Let me invite you to my house to watch, a show and see what the vibes are before you talk about this your friend. Let me see if I like you. Let's go. We Black, so we got to go out to eat first. We got to eat. If you ain't ate with your friend, that really ain't your friend. If you Black, I'm gonna tell it here. Say I'm wrong, fellas. If you ain't ate with them, they not your friend.
Yeah,
Okay?
I mean, that's true.
If you ain't seen them eat, that's not your friend. Because me and Khalil, we friends. But I never went out to eat just because we're virtual. But I've invited Khalil to stuff. Khalil was invited to my baby shower.
Well,
we
look,
was going to definitely have food there. Listen, I didn't see Khalil eat on this thing.
And I couldn't make it.
Khalil came to my no, you came to the gender reveal and you was invited to the baby shower. I think you RSVP'd for the baby shower. Khalil, what are you talking about?
Well,
Anywho, I had the babies early, so
okay.
nobody came to the baby shower. Okay. But
nevertheless, I'm gonna do it.
Nevertheless, you gotta have a little date, right? But you gotta grieve that other relationship. And I think maybe telling people, what, this week is a little tough for me. I just had to rearrange some friendships and I just need a little moment. I ain't gonna be outside this weekend because I'm just healing from a friendship that I had. It didn't end bad or nothing like that, but I had to restructure it. Right? Give yourself that space to let it go, to break up emotionally, and then
you talked about it earlier. People do have these anxious attachments, right? Being afraid that oh my gosh, I'm going to be abandoned, or they're going to leave.
I'm gonna be alone.
I'm going to be alone, right? And I get it, right? Because it is a tough thing, right? When you establish a relationship, even if it was healthy only at one period of time in your life, right? It's very different.
In your mind.
In your mind, it was healthy.
I'm kidding.
In my mind. Like kids say, in my mind, right?
In my mind.
This way, right? But I get it. My only issue is if you're continuing these unhealthy trends, just like Unique said, right? You'll meet someone and all of a sudden they're my friend, right? Well, you haven't even been to dinner with them. You haven't sat down in the same, vicinity as them for long periods of time. You guys don't know how each other are. This is a learning process. You can't just invite everybody in. And it's a difficult thing, I think, for most people.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all. Go ahead. Listen, before you say that, Raja. Can I tell them how we became friends, Rajamel? Rajamel okey-doked me. He okey-doked me, guys. So
your friend.
Yeah, he did. He okey-doked me into being his friend because, first of all, he used to tell jokes in class. Rajamel's a class clown.
Yeah, he is a clown.
Like, so if you laugh at him, instantly a weigh in. He's like, "Oh, you like me? I didn't like you. I didn't even know you." Had never seen this man day in my life. And so I'm a clown, so I laughed because it was funny. So then, I think one day, I don't know who invited who to Starbucks. I think you invited me to Starbucks. I was just like, why don't we go to Starbucks? Why? Ended up at Starbucks. Next, it ended up us buying scones for each other. Next thing you know, he's getting his door kicked in because I'm the big homie. He kind of okie doke me into friends. I'm telling y'all, start small, test it out.
Right.
We tested out. We didn't call each other friends for the longest. Roger Mel was trying to be embarrassed about me, but I'm gorgeous, and I don't know why he ever would be embarrassed. I think because people would think that we were automatically dating. I
Mhm.
think that's
Yeah.
really what
Men
it
and women,
was.
they go through
And
that.
so he just wanted to like Heisman my tail, and I was just like, "Get over here, let's dance," and he did. He did.
Well, so look, what Unique was speaking to, RJ, is inviting people into these personal spaces, and we haven't been able to really have healthy relationships ourselves. So the next person I invite into these personal spaces,
Yeah.
right, I might continue that same unhealthy trend, right? And that's where I was going with it. It's like, really, I got to work on me before I
Yeah.
go out there and start assuming people are going to be this bestie with me and they're going to invest in me and they're going to love me.
Khalil,
I mean,
I even do all.
the
go ahead, Roger.
the issue that both of you guys are talking about, right, is you as the individual have to be healthy first. You know, you have to be healthy first because hurt people hurt people. Like, I know
Right.
that's an antiquated saying,
It
but
ain't antiquated.
you know,
That thing was alive and well.
too many of us will operate like a jagged piece of glass, where when you touch a piece of glass and it's not broken, it's not jagged, you can run your hand across and not incur any injuries. But when you rub your hand across a jagged piece of glass, you get cut straight to the bone.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
for a lot of us,
To the white meat.
to the white meat, and for a lot of us, we will operate through in our different phases of our lives as broken or as unhealthy, not realizing that, as Unique said, you got to take that time to heal. When you are moving on, regardless of whatever type of situation that you find yourself in, you have to take the time to do it in a healthy way. Sometimes the kindest thing that we can do to ourselves and for the other people involved is to just move on and stop trying to make something fit that does not fit.
That doesn't fit.
We a lot of times will try to square peg or circle hole somebody, not realizing this person doesn't fit. We all have those friends, and I've had this conversation with my family members as well as friends. We all have those friends that we know that certain events we can't bring them to.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
Everything ain't for everybody.
Right.
And so, like, when you watch shows like Love and Hip Hop or like some of these other reality television shows, you have in that circle of friends, you have that one friend that if you have a fancy event, don't bring that friend. Don't bring them. They gonna show their tail every single time.
Every time.
But they will invite that person anyway. Then they're shocked and confused.
And then they get mad.
Yeah.
When they act up.
Yeah.
Get mad when they act up.
And I'm like,
I said, you want these homegirls that she got some frenemies. And I was like, you want your frenemies to act some different than they are. You know these girls ain't nice.
Yeah.
They're mean girls. And why do you expect them not to be mean girls?
And that goes back to, Maya Angelou's, quote about when a person reveals themselves to be who they are, believe them. So when we are moving into our different phases of our lives and this person shows you that, hey, because people are going to show you who they are. They're going to show you how much they value you or how little they value you. And so as a person that values you, they will know that, hey, because you're going from here to here, if I'm planning on going with you, there's certain ways, there's certain things that I can't say, there's certain moves that I can't make. You know, versus someone that is, when they see that you're going here and they still want to remain the same, you got to cut them loose, because that person, as Khalil alluded to earlier, they are going to become essentially dead weight, or they're going to become a liability. You're going to fall as a person when you are operating around other people and interacting with other people. You're going to fall into one of two camps, either an asset or a liability.
One of the two.
And so one of the two. So when a person shows themselves to be a liability time after time, because I believe in giving people chances. once they show themselves to be a liability time after time after
O2
time,
Genesis their tail.
yep,
Cut 'em.
you gotta cut them. And it's okay. It's okay, but that's where we have to be honest with the person and let them know, hey, this is why I'm going in this direction, and this is why we can no longer operate in the same spaces at the same time.
But sometimes you don't even need to give the explanation. Sometimes you just need to say bye, because in that you may not be strong enough, and this comes with
Right.
knowing yourself. You may
Right.
not be strong enough to sit down and have that explanation, because this person is a little manipulative friend, and they will talk you right back into being with them.
Yeah.
Because they look cunning, and that's why you took you so long to get rid of them in the first place, because they was good at that lip service. So you got to just say, all right, hey, I'm out.
Well, look, most people aren't good at conflict resolution. Most people aren't good at confrontation, right? Confrontation is a theory in itself, right? Because we have to, in order for us to
I
operate.
like a little confrontation.
Yeah. Well, and it's healthy, right? In relationship, we should confront things that
Yeah.
we see, all right, that aren't doing the relationship a benefit, right? So
Mhm.
if I have a friend I've taken into certain spaces with me, right? Especially spaces where I thought, hey, I had to fight hard to get into these spaces,
Yep.
right? And you're gonna show out. You're gonna act up, right?
Mhm.
And well, I'm keeping it real. We talked about that in a show, right? I'm keeping it real. Okay.
Keeping it real
If
goes
that's
wrong
what
every
you do,
time.
yeah, it goes wrong
You
because
can keep
this
it
is
real at
my
home.
livelihood.
Yeah.
Right.
This is
Keep it real at home.
keep it real at home, right? Because this is what I'm doing with my life, right? I'm transitioning, and if I'm evolving, if I'm growing, and you're no longer growing, eventually, right, by nature, right, when I'm up here and you're down here, you are going to take offense to me because I'm going to start speaking down to you by nature.
Woo.
It's inevitable.
Khalil is snatching the wigs today.
Well,
Khalil,
no.
we're gonna call you the wig collector, because you just snatching wigs this whole episode. I love it. I love it. You just snatching wigs.
I'm going to
Though.
naturally be speaking down to you because I've evolved.
I
And
mean,
it's
but
my
see,
nature.
that goes to a conversation we've had in previous episodes about being equally yoked. Being equally yoked is
I was
not
thinking
just
the same
it is
thing.
not
I was
just
thinking the
applicable
same
to us being
thing.
married. It is us operating in the same vein.
The
If
Bible says two can't walk together unless they agree. Come on,
yes,
somebody.
Got to be in
Come on,
agreement.
somebody. It
if
didn't say a man and a woman. It said two.
Two
yes,
people. Yeah.
and so again, we end up working at, if we're not equally yoked, we're working at cross purposes.
Yeah.
If we're not growing together, eventually what happens is we grow apart. And as Khalil alluded to, it eventually starts to breed resentment, and it breeds, animosity, because either somebody, the person that is at the elevated position, their thought process is going to be, like, what are we doing? Like, why are you not trying to be better? And then and sometimes it's subconscious that you start to have these thoughts, or you're saying
Yeah.
things that you're saying.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
conversely, the person that is here, because I was having this conversation with one of my homegirls at work. She's matriculated, gotten back into church, changed, turning her life around. Whereas her homegirl that she was friends with before is like, oh, you acting different. Oh, you acting like you better than me.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I'm acting different.
And so
Hello.
and that's what I told her. I said, you are of course acting different. I said, because who you were is not who you are anymore. And
I
so
wish we would start shading people for that, though. Like, yes, I'm different. Thankfully, great. You can see it. Awesome. I'm not just doing it for nothing.
But see, that's the crazy part about it. When you're doing the right things, when people are pointing it out to you.
They start to hate on it.
They start to
When they
hate
start
on
to
it,
hate
and
on it.
they start to try to dissuade you. You are
Right.
moving in
When you
alignment
looking
with.
real skinny.
Yep.
Shut up.
I'm
looking amazing.
And that was her argument was, oh, you don't go out with us no more, you don't hang out with us no more, you ain't going out to drink with us no more.
Because I'm not a sinner.
And that's where, like I told her, I say you have to understand, everybody is not made for every phase of your life. They're just not. And that's okay.
Invite her to church. Listen, you want to go out, baby? Let's go into the church.
And that's what I told her.
Into this Bible study.
And that's what I told her. I was like, if she's really your friend, a real friend would cheer you on and push you to be better. Someone who's not your real friend will try to dissuade you from doing what you're doing.
She's her heathen friend. Cut it out. But she got to decide if she want heathen friends.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't think I have any more heathen friends. I don't know if I ever had a heathen friend. Let me think. Okay, yeah, I got a couple of them. But my heathen friends, because they're good friends, like you said, my heathen friends don't ask me to do heathen things.
Nope, they already
They
know.
don't even let me do them. You know that's not you. That's not you, Bookie.
Real
We love you.
friends ain't
We
even
gonna
gonna
see
bring
you at church.
real friends ain't even gonna bring certain shit to you.
Yeah, I know, Bookie. You know I did it. When I was a heathen friend, because see, I used to be some of my friends' heathen friends. When I was the heathen friend, I would say, listen, let me tell you about my heathen antics. Okay.
Even that.
This not for you though, friend. You know this not for you. I don't expect this from you. But this is me. Let me tell you the heathen stuff so that you don't have to do it. I'm gonna do it for both of us. Okay. Okay. And then we would do it. But I never expected them to be a heathen because they not heathen. Right? That's when I used to be a heathen. But I was a good friend. I also have heathen friends who are heathens, but they're good friends. And that's why they still on the roster, because they're just good friends. And so they just said, we know you don't do that, babe. So that's not for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pray for me, okay? I said, okay. I'm gonna pray for you.
When you go to church, lift me up in prayer.
I'm gonna keep you lifted,
really crazy.
I'm gonna lift you. I'm gonna keep you lifted. When you ready to come up on out that thing,
Ready to come out.
let me know. We snatch you out in Jesus' name.
Well, and so right when we're with people, especially, and I'm talking about in a I'm talking about in a romantic relationship. When we're with people, right? And I understand that we all have relationship goals, right? Now, if our goals don't align, right, and this you can usually tell this early on in the relationship, and I'm
You
speaking to
can,
this.
Khalil?
Yes.
You mean you don't have to sleep with them and
You
make
don't have to
babies
sleep
with them
with me.
and get a house
No,
and then
baby,
you
you
figure
ain't got
it
to.
out? Oh
And the reason
God.
why I'm speaking about this is because we've talked about this on the show together, all three of us, right? There should be some goals, right? And if these goals aren't aligning, right, and you can start to tell this, and yes, I'm sorry, most of the time, Unique, it is after we've already slept with that person, right?
It don't have to be though.
It don't.
It doesn't have to be.
It
Doesn't
don't.
have to be. I was a heathen.
It should be before. Listen, I was a heathen, chat. I'm saved and I'm married now. But I was a
The Lord
heathen.
has forgiven me. So look, but once we get to that position where we're starting to notice our goals don't align, and we even start talking about it, right? Like, this is what I want. This is my 5-year goal, right? Like when I set up and did a business
Khalil,
plan.
you talking about something. You talking about something.
Right. You know, when I set up to do my business plan, right, and I start working it out, and someone asked me, they said, "Well, what do you want to do in 5 years? Where do you see yourself? Where do you want your business to expand? Like, where do you want to go? What are you doing? You know, in the meantime, right? Have you written this out, Khalil?" Right? And someone came at me like that, right? Mainly my sister, right? She was one of the
Thank
first
God for
people.
sisters. Thank God for sisters. Be saving
Older
lives.
sisters do that
Thank
too,
God
right?
for sisters.
Yes, and she challenged me, right? And then I started to think about it, and I started working with a person who said, "Hey, well, I'll help you on your website and this and that," right? So I had to start to change some things, right? And then you start to notice, right? You know what? I have plans to do stuff, and this person isn't included in these plans because they're not doing the same thing I'm doing.
Ooh.
Or you know what? They
As
just
the girl
don't
say,
fit.
clock it. Clock it.
So
They're
there's
not
certain stuff
there.
I
They're
had to
not
start
there.
cutting out. Right. Certain stuff I had to start cutting off. And if you're in a romantic relationship with this person and you start noticing that they don't fit in your 5-year plan, then why would you keep dragging them along?
But let's Khalil, see you being sanctified. First of
That's
all, because
called discernment.
discernment, and some
Right,
people be living in delusion. They be living in the other D, and they be hooked to the other D. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let me tell
It
you.
has to be
Let me
physical.
tell
It
you.
has to be physical. You make preach. It has to be physical.
Let me tell you. Because before I was sanctified and saved and filled with the Holy Ghost and married, okay, I had a friend. Because that's all it was a friend. And then I said, you know what? I said to myself and myself saying, I said, this person don't want what I want.
Right. They don't want the same.
But wait. Because see, this is what I'm saying. Sometimes you just got to say bye. So I'm sitting there, I'm texting. And I say, friend, I don't think that we could do the thing that we think the thing no more. Well, why not? I said, well, because I don't think sleeping my way into a marriage is gonna keep me married. What you mean? I said, well, no. What is it me? No. Friend, you do good. You good, friend.
You do good at what you do.
Okay.
You do good at what you do.
Hold on, big fella. Okay. Because you do the things now. Wait a minute. I said, but I don't think we want the same thing. I think you like things, but I want things. Okay, and we don't want the same thing. How you figure I don't want that? Cause boy, we've been doing this for so long, and it ain't let nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We here. I'm trying to go there. And he was just like, so you mean to tell me you gonna end what we got? Maybe we ain't got nothing, sidebar, but you gonna end it for a man that you don't even know? I said, well, who is he? I ain't got nobody. I just know we ain't got nothing here.
It's
Okay?
hard. It's hard
We
for
ain't got
people to
nothing
hear that.
here.
That you
And
don't
so
have anybody?
he was so perplexed that I would end the mess that we were creating. Because really that's what it is. I'm gonna just say it. I know we don't preach religion or anything here, but if we are mental health professionals, sex without strings doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It's not designed to do that. Sex is
No.
designed to create strings.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay,
I mean,
Yeah.
it hems you up.
it serves a purpose. I mean, it is for reproduction. It feels
Reproduction.
good
Right.
to entice you to reproduce.
Reproduce.
It's supposed to hem you up, friends. Okay,
Yes.
so if you are feeling unhemmed and unhinged, stop it. That ain't the person for you. Okay, and
No.
I was feeling very unhinged and very unhemmed. I was feeling very loose on the ends. I said, it's not how this is supposed to feel after. Let me get out of this before I start to like that feeling. Okay.
Right.
Because it was getting there, ladies. So I just said, listen, I'm going to go ahead and end this. And he was upset. And I was just like, and I chuckled a little bit because I'm a little evil. So I laughed. And he was just like, I don't know how you can find this funny. We've been doing this for almost a year. And I was like, and that's the problem, big fella.
And we're
We've
not
been doing
going
this
nowhere.
for a year and we're not going anywhere. We got to stop. So God be with you. Blessings on your journey. And he was upset. Bro, lose my number. It's already lost, Poopy. But,
I
this
mean,
was a
People take
farewell.
it
This is a
personally, right?
polite farewell. He did. He took it
Yeah, people
personally,
take it
but
personally.
I
Mhm.
did not see myself marrying him. And so it's just like, if I don't see myself marrying you, what is the purpose of me continuing to entertain you in this space that I want to do in a marriage? And so I said, you know what? Before I get married, I need to clear the roster. Clear your rosters, ladies. If you're trying to get married, you heard it here first. Clear it. Get rid of all of them. Because if you're trying to be hemmed up, you can't be held up by the roster. Because that's what it's going to do. It's going to hold you up if you're trying to be hemmed up. So, because I wanted to be hemmed up and I wanted to be entangled with my husband, I said, let me just clear anything that looks like it might be something, because it ain't. Right?
Well, look,
And I had to
you
realize that.
Well,
I had to
what
let
you
it go.
did, what you did, we don't see, right? And I don't know. Sometimes I think it's cultural, but when I think it's cross cultural actually. In order for you to be in a healthy relationship, we have to get rid of, and like Unique said it in such a graceful way, right? Get rid of the roster, right? Like a basketball team, football team, right? We have to start over from scratch, right? And in
You're
order,
playing tennis, friend. You're no
yes,
longer playing.
right, one
You're
on one.
playing. It's no longer a team sport. Okay, we're reducing it down to maybe
We're
couples tennis.
narrowing it down. And
Mhm.
look, during this
From
time,
soccer to tennis,
during this
switching
time, once
sports.
you get rid of the roster, right? I know by nature, right? Because we like that biological response when we're entangled in a relationship, the endorphins and all that that's released, the serotonin, you know what I'm saying? And there's another chemical too, right? That those love chemicals, right? And they entangle us in it, right? Well, in order for me to find what I actually need, right? And what I'm actually looking for that fits my goals, that aligns with my goals, I have to have a clear roster, right? I have to have a clear platform where I can start from scratch and work on myself, right?
Yeah.
In order to find that partner that I want to be married to, why would I drag some dude in that I've been carrying around for the last, or some female that you've been carrying around for the last 10 years that you don't want to marry that person, but you just don't want to be alone, and it's going to be uncomfortable during that
They
time,
don't even
alone
fit
time.
your bingo card of what you want to do. And I'm gonna tell you, one of my clients, she was dating this man. And well, they were interested in each other, and she said something very real. She was just like, I like to travel. I like expensive things. and he just doesn't fit that.
Mm.
And I said, what you really have to consider is that something of value to you? Because if not, it don't matter how nice of a man he is, how much he tickles your fancy. If he ain't on your bingo cards, it's gonna end bad. And it did. It ended bad, and it ended with heartbreak because he was just like, he started to realize, I'm not the man. I can't keep up with this. I'm not the man that you need. Like, I'm the man that I want to be him, but I just recognize I can't keep up
Right.
in what you want me to do. Like, I can't do all these expensive fancy dinners. And granted, he had the money. It wasn't that he didn't have the money. The lifestyle was just different. That's
Yep.
what I'm saying. It's not always a bad person. He was a great guy. She was a great girl. They just how they visualize things was just different for them, right? Her life bingo card didn't have the things that his had on there, right? He just was trying to pay off his student loan, take care of his kid, and like help his family out and advance his career. My good sis, advancing her career, traveling to every continent, buying
Right.
a big
Right.
fancy
That's what
house,
she wanted.
swirling around in the fancy dresses, and neither of those things are bad. But because neither of them recognized it early enough, it ended in heartbreak. When it could have been, hey, what are your interests? What do you want? This is why I encourage dating even your friends. Date them. Get to know them first before you get your heart all wrapped up. Because once your heart's wrapped up, it's harder to make decisions. Okay? It's just harder.
I mean, both of you guys are speaking to intentionality and purpose.
Yes.
Everything
Of course.
everything that you do in life, regardless of where you find yourself in life, should be done with intentionality and purpose. Like
You know I'm Little Miss Intention Rising. You
if
know
if
that's who I am.
if you do everything with intentionality and purpose, you will find yourself messing up less. You will find yourself not being in certain compromised positions. You will find yourself in opportunities and situations that you otherwise hadn't even been looking for because you're doing things in alignment with your purpose and your intentionality. Your friends,
Even if it doesn't work well, you'll still enjoy it more because you
yes,
would have learned and
you
thought
learned a
out the
lesson
game
from
what
it.
you wanted to.
You learned a
You know
lesson
what?
from it.
I got exactly what I needed to get out of that.
Exactly. And I mean that's where for most of us when we are interacting with other people, growth and elevation and moving with intentionality and purpose will attract and match you with the people, match you with the people who are supposed to be in your life. You will people that you ain't even looking for will be brought into your what's the word I'm looking for? Your atmosphere, your
Stratosphere.
stratosphere, because you just happen to be moving. You just happen to be doing the things you're supposed to do. And so you will find people that along the way that will bring out the best in you and help you be the best version of yourself because you're moving with intentionality and purpose. And that's where most of us get ourselves in trouble is we tend to just be moving and grooving in life and not
We
having any.
float through life.
Mm-hmm. We float through life and that translates to our relationships. I mean, every connection serves a purpose,
Yep.
for some for a season and some for a lifetime. And it's okay to kind of sift through those people, and recognize when they're here to either teach you a lesson, or to be here in this moment when, in this moment you needed them. But then once the moment's over, they no longer are supposed to be here anymore. And we sometimes lose sight of that. We will bring people into other seasons of our lives when they weren't supposed to be in that season.
Can I say this too? I think you got to give a little room for relationships to blossom.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that this past, 2 weekends ago, last weekend maybe. And maybe I shouldn't say too much before it gives it away, just in case they listen. But I realized how we started off was one way. The relationship wasn't bad, but it definitely was strained. And I was just like, I don't even know if I really like this person because the relationship was so strained because of how I initially met the person. But because life has changed us, we were no longer in the same space. I actually liked them a lot more. I was just like, oh, I really do like this person. Hold on. I kind of think that they're all right. And this past weekend really solidified that. No, I like the way they think. I like how they move. This is good. It was just the scenario in which I met them the first time. it didn't work the way it needed to work for us, right? And so I think sometimes you have to. That's why I'm harping on. You have to evaluate because you may not be cutting off the person as a whole. You may need to reprioritize. You may need to say, okay, I didn't like them in this setting. They're better over here, right? Or I may need them in small doses. I was consuming way too much time with this person. Maybe they are better in small doses, and I can really appreciate them in that space. Maybe you only was having a person in small doses, so you really never got to see the full array of who they could be and see them blossom in that space. Okay, I have to get them in this space. So you really have to be intentional, like Raja was saying, and say, what is it that this person is doing? What do I need? What am I getting from this relationship? Do I like that? Is there something else that I want? And then I think the icing on the cake is this person capable of doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Are they capable of showing up in that way? If the answer is no, then you have your answer and you know what you need to do. You may need to reprioritize, cut them out, or that's it. Reprioritize or cut them out, right? I think that's the thing, right? 'Cause some people you're not going to cut out, but you could say, for case in point, some people, y'all know I'm big on, if you want to do something new, find people who are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, when I wanted to get married, my single friends, they weren't bad people, but they just couldn't tell me how to be married.
Mm-hmm.
So my married friends, when I wanted to be single and in the streets, living my best single life, I didn't seek advice from my married friends because they could only give me married people advice, right? So I loved them, we were friends, but I didn't talk to them about relationship stuff. I didn't hang out with them that often. When I wanted to transition to be married, then my single friends I started hanging out with them a little less. And I started doing more hanging out with my married friends. Was I married? No, I wasn't even engaged. But I knew that's where I wanted to be. So I
Mm-hmm.
was intentional about navigating that space with them, asking about how do you do your marriage? How do you navigate that space? And still to this day, because I want to stay married, I seek out friends who have long, healthy marriages because I want to stay married. Have I been married for 20 years? No, but I want to stay married for 20 years. So I'm going to talk to people. I want to build relationships with people who are married for 20 years. I'm not going to build relationships with people and have them be as impactful. It doesn't mean I won't have them. Just have them be as impactful for people who are at where I'm at or who are less or who've ended their marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say I'm just gonna not be friends with them. I do have friends who have divorced their mate, and we are great friends. I'm just not seeking marriage advice from them. I recognize that placeholder. If I want to know maybe how to deal with some conflict, hey, I'm having this conflict right. Maybe I could talk to them about that. Or just not relationships in general. We just morph into something new. That relationship blossoms. Our ability to talk about what we used to may not be the same anymore. And that's okay. You just have to you got to do the hard work and look at the relationship.
So we are going to end the conversation there. This is Try Not to Overthink It, signing out. I'm RJ.
I'm unique.
And I'm Khalil.
If you like what you heard and you like what you saw, please like,
You
share,
liked it.
subscribe, hit that notification button so you do not miss out on any future content, miss out on these very beautiful faces. If you
Right.
would like to listen to
Better
us,
hit them buttons.
yes, better hit those buttons. If you would rather listen to us instead of watch us, I don't know why you would, because we are some very good looking people. We can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Audible, SoundCloud, pretty much anywhere you can get your audio file, we can be located. If you would like to support us even more, the social media for both TikTok and Instagram will be linked down below, where we put condensed versions of the episodes, as well as mindfulness minutes, which are therapeutic things that we talk about that can help to improve your life 1 minute at a time. But this is Try Not to Overthink It, signing out, and we will catch you guys next time. Peace.